Yes, yes.
Okay. So, well, first of all, well, congratulations for, well, the upcoming release of the band. And well, my first question for you, well, I listened to Nostalgia, and it sounds well, it's heavy and melodic, and really captures the soul of the traditional heavy metal from the 80s. How would you describe the sound of the records for the new Defense, and what are the main influences and the concept behind?
If I was to explain the sound of Enforcer to people who hasn't heard us before, I would say that, you know, we play cult metal in a modern way. We are a modern heavy metal band with the majority of the inspiration from bands such as everything from Black Sabbath to Deep Purple to Judas Priest, Led Zeppelin, Iron Maiden, Diamond Head, Saxon, Venom, Motorhead, stuff like that. And that's you know, that's where we have our roots, and that's the music where I'm rooted and that I feel confident with doing, you know. But at the same time, we're really not trying to copy any other band, but also like take all the inspiration that we have and put our musical like experience into this and make it to something that is unique and something that can stand on its own feet, like from a musical perspective also.
Yes, well, I'll just admit my co-worker here, my that will interview you too. Just one moment.
That's okay. Yeah.
I think he's on the conversation, but I think okay, now the camera is on.
Okay, yeah, you've got one there. Yeah.
Hi, Tarcísio. Your audio is not so good. Well, meanwhile, he adjusts his audio. I will ask you the second question. That it's about the artwork of
Yes, please.
the new record, because it shows, well, a skeleton with a hourglass. So I understand we are talking about the concept of how time flies and we need to enjoy all the moments. Am I right in my interpretation? I mean, do you miss the old times from the days you were young?
No, I don't miss. Well, I miss. You know, you miss some things, and some things are getting better. I think my life's getting better for every year. But I mean, the nostalgia concept is not about like missing old times. It can be that for whoever, but it's about the actual feeling. You know, the feeling that probably most people can relate to, and you know, that you see that things around you evolve, change, wither, die, and there's nothing you can do about like the passage of time.
Yes. Yeah, well, and still talking about the release of the new record, I checked that you guys released something like a digital experience, right? A home.
Yes.
So, that you can interact with. How did this idea come from? I thought it was a very interesting idea to do this. I've never seen this done before, probably.
I think it was like the original idea came from our record label, and so, like I don't know like how this came up, but I thought it was pretty great to like to like have a platform where we could integrate the fans, and we can like an interactive platform where we can like see things that we want to share in a special environment.
Hi guys, sorry for my delay.
Hi, how you doing?
Technical problems.
No worries.
You know. Can you do the next?
No worries.
The
Nice to meet you, Olaf. My name is TC.
Nice to meet you too. Nice to meet you too.
You can call me TC, okay? It's my initial.
TC, yeah, nice to meet you, TC. Yeah.
Okay, me too.
TC, can you do the next question?
The third question.
No, the fifth.
Let me see. I wrote it right down here. A lot of trouble. Okay. Kiss of Death has an amazing and speedy guitar riff on the intro. What can you tell us about the writing process of this particular song? It even got a video.
Yeah, I think the riff is kind of, I love to talk about like musical technicalities, but I think the riff is, you know, it's really interesting in many ways, because I think it's like I mix like standard cliches with something that is like stands in contrast to it. You know, if you take the riff, how many times isn't that used? Like a billion times. It's a very standard riff. You do that, but what you do to make it a good riff is that you put a tail on it, a very melodic tail to the riff, and in total it's both a heavy metal riff, but it's also something that stands out and is like unique for this song only.
It sounds
I
familiar
think that's
to us.
yeah, it sounds familiar, but it's also something new and fresh when you combine like riffs in this way. And since you talk about the opening riff, I just wanted to say that. But what inspired the song, I think, honestly, it was a song by a Swedish rock band called Alien, that I heard, and I was like, oh wow, this is so fucking great. So I it's like it's not similar at all, especially not how it came out. But I was listening to this song and I was like,
you got the vibe and you do your own riff.
Yeah, you know, you get the feeling of that song, and you want to replicate the feeling, but you want to do your own thing of it, you know. And I wrote the song in like 2 hours, just like you know. So it came about that, and I knew that I wanted to call it something like had to do with like the passage of time and your life on Earth and you know, stuff like that. So yeah, that's what
Spiritual.
I can say about that song. Yeah,
kind of spiritual thing.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Since you say that, well, which are your biggest influences on guitar and on vocals?
Oh no, I can't even say. I mean, from a guitar player, it's kind of, I mean, I listen all the phrasings I do on the guitar when it comes to solo and the instrumental parts. It's basically only classical music that I listen to use, and jazz music a lot, that I build my phrasing and my guitar things on, like jazz and classical. But when I listen to when it comes to more songwriting, it's a lot of like I'm not gonna lie, I like melodic rock, like pop rock, stuff like that, anything. But I also like Motorhead and stuff like that. So I mean, you know, I just want to make great songs and but you know, in a heavy way. I like everything. Everything inspires me. You know, I heard something on the radio today. I hate modern music, but it was just like something. It was just like a touch of a melody, like a bit of a phrase that caught my attention, and I started to think about how you could put that into like a metal, you know, context, or like a chorus like that. Yeah.
Just like you did with the Alien song that you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you hear something and you process it, and you like. Yeah, so I can't really say that I'm inspired by Motorhead and I only want to play Motorhead and Venom music. You know, that's never going to be a good band with that intention. good bands come out from that. You take inspiration from everything you hear, you process it, and you do your own thing about it. That's what I'm saying.
And well, talking inspirations, I checked in your
Huh?
in your Instagram that you posted a photo of Ingrid Malmsteen Rising Force, right? Signed by him.
Yeah. Ah, well, that's one of the best records of all time, I think. The first Malmsteen record.
Yeah, well, since we are both from the same country, I'm curious to know how well, if he's a guitar hero in Sweden too, how is this uh, influence uh, between you and him? I mean, do you think you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm of course I'm inspired by Malmsteen. He has really showed the world that you can combine classical music with heavy metal in a very unique way. But I don't want to copy Malmsteen. I really don't want to. And I would say that perhaps we have the same influences, but I'm not like directly inspired by Malmsteen, at least not that much. Maybe like not directly, but maybe indirectly. I love Malmsteen. Um, and yeah, but I mean, I guess when you're from Sweden, you're grown up in a similar musical schooling and context. I mean, I come from a very musical family. I have a lot of classical music and like music theory with me from childhood, and which I'm applying to my way of writing music, and that's very. I mean, that's very natural for me to do. I can't unlearn musical theory. I use it all the time. I'm a nerd when it comes to musical theory.
You still practice?
Yeah, I spent my entire life playing music. It's not so strange that you pick up a thing or two.
Oh, that's nice. And well, the check the song Undying Evil from the From Beyond record. It's the most streamed song from Frost and Forces with more than 2 million streams. So what do you think this is the favorite one of your fans, and what memories do you have from writing it?
For a very long time, it was actually another song, but Undying Evil recently took the first place. I don't know why. I think I honestly think that it's the song we've been pushing most. Also, I think it's one of the songs that really captures really what we are and what we want to be in the 2020s, combining melodic rock with extreme with like extreme musicianship and extreme like songwriting skills. It should be catchy, accessible, but it should also be like like uh, instrumentally and musically challenging in a lot of ways. I think it really captures what we are, and I'm still to date. I think up to date. I think it's one of our greatest songs. We the funny thing is that the majority comes from it was two songs in the beginning, two mediocre songs, and when we were finishing when we were finishing when we were finishing From Beyond, that was the last song. Everything was done. It was only me and my brother in the rehearsal place, and it was like, can't we do something about these songs? And we just took the chorus from one of the songs, took the verse from the other song, put it together, and bam, that was the song.
Yeah, it's my favorite too. I must say.
Yeah, no, it's
I
I'm
really,
really happy
really
with
like
it.
that song.
Yeah.
So the record Zenith has two versions, one in English
Yeah.
and one in Spanish. Why the band released this Spanish version? Do you think the Latin market, sorry, is getting stronger?
Yeah, I think so. And we really want to explore the Latin market, because I feel also that it feels like it's a strong market, and that it's a market where they take young metal serious. In Europe, I don't think that, everything is also is only about like the old bands, and old people want to like relive their childhood memories by going to see bands they used to worship when they were kids. In Latin America, they see young bands on the same level as the old bands, and it seems like I get the feeling that they appreciate music for what it is in a way that people don't do in Europe. I mean, in Europe, people don't give a shit about us, and especially not in Sweden. I mean, people are laughing about us in Sweden and think that we are some sort of like parody band. But that's with their, that's the attitude that people have here,
Sorry about that. Which bands are you currently? Oh, sorry. You can go on.
Go ahead.
No, I'm going to ask you, which bands are you currently listening to?
I had a major AC/DC streak the past couple of weeks. Actually, I've been listening to AC/DC a lot. Yeah, it's like AC/DC is a band that I've never really got into, but that's always been there. And I put on For Those About to Rock like a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, this is such a massive freaking song. I mean, that song is, it gave me chills. I mean, I heard it a billion times, but I just heard it in the right context, I guess. Like, yeah, how it builds, how it's like, and that really threw me into like an AC/DC frenzy. I love when AC/DC do something more than they just play the three chords that they do in most of their songs, but the songs where they actually like do a little bit more than that, then they are one of the greatest bands in the world, I think.
Never saw them live, but I wish I had.
Yeah.
So, I really like AC/DC.
Yeah.
Yes. And well, Olof, do you have plans for touring? Maybe the fans from South America can expect the band to come.
We were just there a couple of weeks ago, and we might have some festivals, like South American festivals coming up, that we hope to play. And if we do that, we can probably squeeze in another couple of shows on the continent. So hopefully
this year, 2023.
Hopefully, yeah. So in the end of the year. So I'm not saying we are, but I'm saying if we can confirm those festival shows, there's a likeliness that we could also squeeze in some more shows on the continent.
And do you like to play here? What do you think about the crowd here? The differences between here and other places like Europe or US, maybe?
I think so. Like Latin America is probably the best place to play metal music in the world. I think it's passion there in a way that it's not anywhere else.
Well, yes, I hope to see you, because maybe you can make a huge tour, a greater tour here. And
I hope so, but at the same time, you want to play big shows, not like we've been touring South America a lot of times, and we've been ending up in small places, and you don't really want to do that. You just want to you just want to play the shows where you actually can like pull a good crowd. So yeah, we tried it the hard way, but it didn't really work out. So next time we're definitely going to do something like focus on the bigger cities, but I hope we can do Sao Paulo again. At least we did it last time, but it wasn't great because it was like at the same time as the carnival, people were saying, and that was like I hope we can come back soon.
February, right?
Yeah.
Well, Tarcísio, do you have another question?
No.
So, Olof, thank you for the interview, and please leave a final message to your Brazilian fans and say, what fans can expect about the Nostalgia record and the future plans of the band.
Yeah. To everybody who's seeing this in Brazil, thank you for keeping heavy metal alive together with us, and we hope to see you in Brazil soon again. Go and check out Nostalgia. It's for me, it's my masterpiece. If you like heavy metal, you will not be disappointed. So check that out.
Okay, man. So good luck with the release, and
thank you so much.
Hope to see you on the road.
Yeah. See you. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Bye.
No worries.